Hello, everybody. Welcome to the boomrz Show, Candid Conversations. So, welcome today, me and my fellow boomer, Diane's on the line, and let me hook up Mel. She's here. Hey, Mel.
Hi there.
Perfect timing, perfect timing. So, just by way of a short explanation, I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to make it today because my husband had a Zoom court, right? And he doesn't do Zoom. He's been retired forever, and so I had to be on to help him with it. But luckily, they only had an hour set up for their court thing, and they got to him right at the end, so it worked out perfectly. So we know that Renee is in Indy attending the funeral, and she won't be here today. And hopefully Pam will join. I sent her the link. So in the meantime, thanks for joining, ladies. I thought that you all were going to have to carry the conversation, so I'm glad that I was able to actually get on. Yes. So, before we get into a topic that Diane has, anything that we want to discuss this week?
Oh, Texas and our governor.
It just boggles the mind.
It goes beyond that because last year I was applauding him for at least doing that much for the mask and making it a mandate. And then he goes and just strips it arbitrarily, willy-nilly, no medical advice.
And after the storm that happened, after all of this death, destruction, and damage.
Well,
I think it seems like it really does seem like it's a switch tactic, to draw attention away from what he didn't do there.
Exactly.
And people on his side. It's just almost obvious.
It's but it's not going to work. Everybody knows you messed up. So it's called just sad.
Well, good. I hope that the voters in Texas remember, because he needs to go. Even the Alabama governor, who normally, the heavily Republican state will follow, even she said, we sticking with this for 5 more weeks. But
she did?
Yes, she did. She got on screen and said that. Yeah. So these guys, I just,
because I was a little perturbed because I'm tired of the politics of this whole thing. I'm just wondering if these states that are pulling out or going all taking away the mandate, is it all a part of political? I'm tired of the politics.
It is. I think it's purely political. I think it's entirely political. There's nothing scientific about it. So the other thing is either they're stupid, which is probably a part of it, but to me, it's political.
Everything is political. Even today, there was a gentleman who basically brought home a point regarding Cuomo. I don't know if the man's guilty of whatever, but so far, I've not heard that he's raped anybody. As that former person that held that seat of president,
fire in chief,
had 23 women. That he literally, put his hands up their skirts and all kinds of other things. And so we've got a woman who says he asked her if she dated older men. Now, no, that was not appropriate, especially in the workplace. I'm not trying to defend that.
He set up the proposition.
And my take is this: what are we talking about here? What was so, the atrocity? Because you want this man to step down from governorship, but the person who held the office of the presidency was not asked to step down.
Right.
He was applauded and said, "Boys will be boys." Are you kidding me? Am I missing something on this? I mean, and I'm not saying, "Oh, what about?" Because if he's wrong and there's some law or something that he's broken, yeah, okay, fine. But I was in the U.S. Air Force, okay? And so then I know that we've got thousands, not a few, but thousands of soldiers that would be totally everything would be ruined. This part of this Me Too thing is getting way out of hand, I think, because now had he put his hand up her skirt, or like the Matt Lauer who got to walk away and no charges, okay, I'm sorry, I'm missing the point here. Where is the consistency? I mean, because he didn't drug these women and or anything like
And
that. I mean,
didn't he apologize? Didn't he make a public apology?
he made a public apology, and he didn't assault these women. Maybe in their mind or whatever, but I'm looking for the assault.
Yeah, I mean, a verbal, the conversation and the fact that she felt like, that was her boss. And so she had to sit there and take it. And I get all of that, I do. But
Mm-hmm.
I think at some point in time, we've got to separate a person's profession and professional life from the personal. And
Yes.
unfortunately, you did this on the job, and it's, reprehensible, but it's not. I don't think it should be a deal breaker, because, like you said, there was a assault, there was there was the approaches, the quote unquote, for lack of a better word, for flirtation, the ask, but you were able to get up and walk away.
Yeah, and you weren't fired, and the door wasn't locked like Matt Lauer locked the girl in the room. Okay, so hello, I'm just kind of, what are we talking about? How far are we going to take this thing? So if a man says, "Oh, you look cute today," oh, he said something just horrible to me. I felt like he was trying to come on to me. So then that man gets fired because he told a woman that she looked good. I'm sorry. I guess I'm just not with that. Maybe because I was in the military, and you just simply told them where to step off, and keep on moving. Now, there are women in the military that have been raped and everything else. I'm not talking about those women. I'm talking about someone who's just getting a cat call. I'm sorry, that's not enough. But this guy brought the point that, politically speaking, this is a way for the Republicans to try to get a Republican governor into the state of New York to pardon his sorry behind. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yep. Already got somebody lined up to try to take the seat.
That's right.
Or that they think that they,
would. I mean, New York is a Democratic state, but here's the thing. If people buy off on this nonsense, just like this whole, I had to educate a woman online before I got on here. And she was a friend of a friend's, and she basically got on there talking about, I'm tired of this cancel culture. I'm tired of it. Even Dr. Seuss. Okay, so, all right. I first off, we're in a pandemic. People just lost power, water, and still don't have it yet. Pipes have burst. Don't have any money to pay their electric bill, nothing. And you're sitting up here fretting over Dr. Seuss because Fox News told you.
Because Fox has pushed it. Yes. Fox made a big deal about it.
However, the fact of the matter, if anybody just Google. Go and Google. God said in the Bible, study to show thyself approved. You're sitting up here taking the word of these demons who told you that the virus was a hoax last year and over 500,000 people have died. And they sat back supporting this man who lied to you, said it's going to be over next week. It's going to be over on Easter. It's going to be a miracle. Yeah, like he can wave his hand and God gave him that power. No. But, I had to explain to her, this is called accountability.
Mm-hmm.
The company, not anybody else.
Yes, it was the enterprises that did this.
Yes, they decided we're not going to publish this book anymore. I had to explain to this girl. I said, well, here's the thing. If you have one of those books, which I never owned any of those, those names don't even, I can't even recall any of those. I have a lot of Dr. Seuss books.
You know what? I agree with you completely, because when they went through the titles, now I was a Dr. Seuss girl for real.
Yes.
I liked Dr. Seuss. I liked the rhymes and everything. I thought it was clever. And those were ones, though, that I hadn't seen. But when they showed the images, I can understand why the organization chose those. I get it. I get it. To make this big old production, because they didn't cancel all the
it was, and I had to,
how many books they published.
My take is this. The bottom line is, none of those books, most people don't even have them. They were written in 1930 and 37. Jim Crow was in full effect at that time. So it was acceptable and it was okay.
Exactly. Images were acceptable there.
But I had to explore once more, because she couldn't get that thought in her head that it wasn't anyone. Somebody put pressure on him. I said, well, guess what? Pressure that causes the truth to come out.
That's a good pressure.
That's good. That's called accountability. They looked at it. They said, hey, we've been screwing up. Let's not produce this book anymore. I said, but if you want to go and relish in that bigotry, I'm sure you can probably find the book in a library or whatever. Okay. Unless they've been stolen, because now people are buying them off of eBay like nobody.
Yeah, they want them. Yeah, it's collector's items.
Yeah, now it's a collector's item. So I'm like, okay, fine. Go ahead and get your little bigot book. You know, I don't care if they put $1 million on the Confederate flag. I'm not going to buy one. I'm not going to have one. I
will say this though. Being a Dr. Seuss fan, if I had those books, I wouldn't be throwing them away. They're going to stay in my collection. Because if I, as a child, wasn't offended by those pictures, then, you know what I'm saying? If I liked the rhyme and the words in the book and I learned something from it, I'm keeping it. I'm sure I have other things around that have had images that were less than stellar in them. You know.
I'm positive, but that's the thing. The thing about cancel, I think we need to use the word accountability culture.
Yes.
We are now making you accountable, and it's uncomfortable for you. And that's what I had to tell her. You're now uncomfortable because we are pointing out the evil that has been perpetrated against us for all this time. And how dare you sit up here and tell me that this is about cancellation? No, this is about this company took a look at their books that nobody and their brother has, you know, or, you know, those who do, well, they're going to sell them for thousands of dollars now to racists, you know, or someone that's just a book collector. And like you said, everybody's got their own level of uncomfortableness with certain images and stuff like that. But how dare you tell me that this is like Nazis burning book?
Thank you.
Nobody's going to take your book from you. If you have that book, nobody's coming to your house and going to burn it. So there is no comparison there. Get off. It's so sad that these people are so uneducated. But the good news is, at the end of this conversation, she finally said, I get it. Because I had to send her the article. I told her to go Google it, but see, people won't even go
do that.
Google.
Right.
The people had an interview, and they interviewed the lady and said, this is why we did it.
Exactly. Get the facts. Get the facts.
And stop listening to Fox News, because this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to divide us.
Honey, I if my TV is on Fox, it's a mistake, right?
I don't even have that.
Because it's fake news. I can't listen to them. I can't watch them. It's fake. It's fake.
It's disgusting what they're doing. And the fact that they had this little golden idol last weekend.
Oh, good Lord. Did you see the guy down on his knees kissing the doggone thing? It's just, you know, there's crazy out there, and, you know, you wouldn't be crazy, and that's all fair, well and good. But I just, it boggles the mind. You know, CPAC is a joke now. They used to have a little, a tinge of respectability. Now it's just a joke.
What is CPAC?
The conservative.
What is?
It's a political action committee, but it's their big. They do this big powwow every year. The conservatives
and fundraiser.
So,
okay. And they're supposed to be Christians, but they had a golden idol from made in China.
I saw that.
Help me.
Help them. Because they need help. Lord,
help me to unsee that thing. And this is what I'm saying. Oh Lord. Mm-mm. So Diane, what are we talking about today?
No, I was just telling Kathy that I just finished this book I just finished this book. Reading this book is called Digging for Intimacy, Sex, Sensuality, and Loving God. It's by Dr. Alicia Simmons. She used to attend church with me when she was here in Iowa working on her doctorate degree. And since then, she got a doctorate here from the University of Iowa, and then she has a doctorate in philosophy from Duke University. But she's a journalist and a reporter. But anyway, this is Alicia. She's a speaker. Where is she? Right there. She's a speaker, and basically, this is a it talks about. She's also an ordained minister, but she talks about just this: sex, intimacy, and loving God. And she's real transparent about her own experience, with this. And basically, she said it's not addressed enough in the church. So,
yeah, because I don't know many churches that talk about sex truly.
Oh,
and so her whole point.
There's several.
Well, and so her whole point is
you might know several, but the ones that I do, they aren't, weren't discussing that.
I think this her whole point is I have to look at that one.
Yeah,
and so this is her second book. Her first one is Digging for Treasures, but you can buy this one on Amazon.
Okay.
And
did you like
it? It's really, huh?
Did you like it?
Yeah, I like it because it's quick reading. It's just 130 pages, and at the end of each chapter, she has some little reflection questions. But basically, what she's in is she's being real transparent about her decision to have sex. Okay, and she addresses things that I think need to be, it covers things that need to be covered in you don't hear a lot about in church. And she used to attend. I used to be a member of Gospel Explosion Ministry, and she used to attend that church while she was here at the University of Iowa. So this is it. It's a pretty good book, and I can just it's pretty good.
All right.
Well, I mean, I think this is a good topic because
it really is. And her whole point is buy the book. You can have discussions about it. You can have a Bible study about it. You could pass it on to you can pass it on like to your you might know a woman, a niece or nephew. I'm not a niece, a niece that are someone that you could pass this book along to, but it's pretty good. I thought it was interesting. She's a journalist, so this is what she does, and she's pretty good.
What? I probably will get that and take a look at that because I think you're right. The for people who are married, you know what I'm saying? You have a pass. But if you're not, or if you've never been, or if you've, divorced or widowed or whatever, what about your sex life? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and she addresses, she says, right.
Gotta
She addresses that really well, but what about
it one day?
she addresses that really well. We know what about those that are waiting for their Boaz. You know, we know what the Bible says: it's better to marry than to burn. And
Right.
she just basically what she's talking about is her own experiences. I'm like, what, Dr. Lisa? I didn't know that. I mean, but no, it's not she's trying to hide anything, but she's just talking about her own experiences with it, being a woman of God, being a pastor, being an ordained minister. She even addresses one moment where she had to step down from ministry, from pastoring because of an encounter. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
this is some stuff because as much as we as much as we talk about abstinence, I don't know about you, but I just think the majority of people, that's not how, saints, the people that's loving God too. A lot of them not living like that, dipping. But anyway, I'm just saying it's a really good book. And it's really good because I like the fact she says loving God, because these are women. She's talking about women that there you are and you loving God. Because there are women out there that love God, that strong faith and believing and still choosing that. So I'm just saying, to me, it's a good book.
All right, all right.
Well, what are
Amazon.com.
your thoughts on that, though?
To the table.
What are
Exactly.
your
So
thoughts on
her
that?
whole, huh?
What are your thoughts on that? Being a woman of God and then having relationships outside
This
of
is
marriage.
saying this is why this is a good book to read, and then this is a good book to read, and then have that discussion. Because only thing I'm about my thoughts. I was at a church, my in-laws, and I was an active member in leadership and everything. And she's a woman pastor. And one thing she would always put out there was, I ain't been with a man in X amount of years. And my whole thought on that was, you know what? I ain't trying to be like that. so
Yeah.
so
But
what I'm saying
why
is
there's a lot of women living that life for different and varied reasons. And a lot of them don't even necessarily have to do with being women of God or church things. It's just a lack of finding a suitable partner.
True.
exactly,
True.
you know what, she kind of, and
Men
she
have no
addresses that
idea
way.
how long women can wait. They just
Yeah,
don't have a clue. You know what I'm saying? I know
and
women
she addresses that.
sex for years. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like the way she addresses
Mm-hmm.
that in the book.
You know. So yeah,
And
I think
she
I am going to
addresses
try to find that one and
point.
just see what she has to say about it.
Huh?
And then I say, I think I will find that one and read it and see what she has to say about it. And then we can have
And
a
it's on
more
Amazon.com, and
conversation.
it was $15.99, and she got a website on there. She's on my webpage. She gives some resources in the back, because she said that at some point she had to end up going to therapy, but she gets some resources out there, and she got some very good reflection questions at the end of each chapter. So I just thought it was very interesting, especially since I know her and everything. I know her and
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would
church
say
together.
to provide ground cover, I would just say this for probably a whole bunch of women out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We strive to do our best, but we're not perfect, and all we can do is ask for forgiveness for sins that we commit. I think it's unrealistic to expect that at a at that what I call priest level. You that
Yeah.
level of commitment, I think, is absent in a lot of people. They will go to the brink, but and all you can do is ask for forgiveness. That's all you can do.
Right, and you know what, she addresses that as well, and she closed it out with saying where she is in her life now, and her life is, giving her body a rest, basically, and waiting, waiting on that Boaz, or just Waiting and trusting God. But it's a good read. Digging for intimacy.
Okay, so you ain't got to hold up again. I'm finna ask you a question out the book, though. Does she have any toys?
No. What you say? No.
I just asked if
She
she
didn't
had any
say
toys.
toys. No toys.
Okay.
No toys. No
Okay.
toys. It's just basically about her experiences, the different relationships, her experiences, and addressing that need, putting that need out there to discuss it, putting it out there, making it a topic of discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I have several friends that are single, dating, 60s, or late 50s, and it is drama. I'm like, God forbid, that I have to go back out there in that dating scene. I mean, my girlfriend lost her husband 3 years ago in October. Um, and she's like, there's not a part of me that wants anything to do with any other person, you know. And I feel firmly that she's very, very, very committed to that. Um, but I mean, like you said, it's everybody's got their own little different deal going on. I've got friends that I want to strangle them sometimes because they are kind of sleeping with men before a relationship is even formed. Because they think a relationship is forming, or they're saying, "Well, I don't have forever, so I'm going to go ahead and get this relationship off the ground." And it ends up all he wanted was, a quick fix, and he's gone, to the next woman. And then some of them, they're looking for a sugar mama,
Yeah.
you know,
I
and
think
they're
you have to know what you're out there for.
right.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is that, like you said, she went to counseling. So if you don't have that criteria, which really in the Bible, it gives you that criteria, but if you don't have that criteria, then you need to really sit down and really focus and understand what that is. And then, truly ask for God's discerning spirit, because the devil is so busy right now. And there are too many women that are being taken advantage of by these brothers that, or men in general, because it's not limited by race. It's across the board. I have friends in all the different races and nationalities, and boy, it's a trip, because you're thinking, okay, so there's no language barrier or anything else. They're doing the same thing as, the next one, in some cases. But then there are some really good guys out there. And I tell you what, when you try to get your friends, not necessarily trying to get them connected to somebody, because you hate for them to land the wrong one and it was you who brought them all together, but just giving them alternatives, and they're like, no, they want that bad guy, they want that one that they're going to go chase after. And it's like the Bible said, a man findeth a good thing when he finds his wife, not the other way around. And I think that we have to, as women, we have to encourage one another to let's hold on, let's hold off, because you are valuable. And that's the other thing, a lot of these women don't value themselves, and that's I think is part of the bigger issue in some cases.
Well, I would say this. I would say that I agree with you, Mel. And I tell you this, I never thought I would be on this. I always thought I never thought that I would be single, because it's no joke out here, because I don't want to be out here looking for nobody. I don't go looking anyway, but I count your blessings, ladies. That's all I got to say. Count it, because it's something. It really is. to not.
Well, it's probably the biggest sinner out of the five of us. Um, I think that
What you say?
I think that those of us who are less le, less committed, let's say, or whatever, um, well, have a harder time with that. But make no mistake, it's not because, and I'm gonna say we and put myself in the group with those women just for the sake of conversation. I don't think it's because we don't value ourselves, but I think we're looking for something particular and they know what it is. You know what I'm saying? They may not find the right thing. And then I'm gonna tell you something. It's been some women. Yeah, I know these women. At least I know some women who have not had sex for years. And I think at some point in time, you make a decision and decide, this is what you want. This is what you're after. You may not want a husband or anything like that, but you want that experience again before you die. You want somebody to touch you, And so how do you to deal with that? And everybody's not built to push back and say, well, I'm just not going to do it for the rest of my life. And that's
and it varies. I mean, it varies. And like you said, no, Kathy, for yourself, you're one of those people that is like, I know who I am. I know what I want. And if I were ever in that position again, it wouldn't be one of those things where you're just going to be like, okay, I'm going to sample everything out there. You're going to be, you've got.
No, but I will tell you, when I was in my 30s, when I was in the middle of a man dropped single, and stuff, I will admit to this. There was a time one day when I looked out the window and said, if the mailman coming down the street may be enforceable, I kid you not. you get to that point, and then, but like my little horse did on the horse trail one day, walked up all the way to the edge of the cliff and then went on around because he knew the path, so we eventually had to, turn the corner and get on down the path. But I'll freely admit to that because it's funny to me now to think about that. I actually looked out the window. The need is real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good topic because it's real. And I think, some women fail to talk about their, what they're thinking in that particular realm. They'll just talk about, I want a good guy. I want this guy to, take me out and all this other stuff. And it's called, come on now. It's called, it's been a minute. So I know you're sitting there thinking, But, on the other hand, you have those women who basically have said, look, I'd rather be like Paul. I had a friend that actually was gay and she, accepted the Lord as her savior after about 4 years of witnessing. But anyway, so now she's celibate. She's leading a celibate life. She's not, she's like, I'd rather just simply be like Paul. So, I mean, I think it just runs the gamut. And I think that the Bible, of course, has a word for each and every situation. And then sometimes it takes, getting together and praying, and truly saying, okay, because God said He'll give you the desires of your heart. So let's pray. Let's believe God for what He said He would give you. And I think that sometimes gets missed because people will pray about illness. People will pray about, someone dying. But I'm praying to have a mate that can touch me, like you said, Kathy, Yeah. And so in that respect, as I tell my husband, I'm like, I pray to God we can both just be, checking out at about the same time. Time we get to 90, I'm good, whatever, because I'm not. But God forbid, because I've seen too many of my friends go through pure hell. And then one, dating, the dating apps and stuff, I'm like, oh my. But
well, like you said, prayer. Diane, that was a good one. I am definitely now got to read the book just to see what she talks about and what she did. But I do want to say to everybody out there, no judgment. Don't
No,
judge
no,
women for
No.
no,
they
no,
make, because you have no idea what they've
I
been
have
through,
no idea.
and nobody's
no,
perfect. We all
none.
have things that
Hold up. If the
Not
skeleton
at all.
falling out of my closet, people will be like, "What?" Okay.
So give us the name of it one more time, Diane. Digging for Intimacy by who?
By Arlesia see it?
Simmons.
Simmons.
Yeah, or Alicia Simmons. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Go check out the sister book. Give a
Yeah.
little love
She
on
got a
Amazon or whatever.
website. She got a page. She got a website.
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right.
follow her all the time. So check it out.
Righty then.
And
Like
so
you said, you got the personal connection, so that's a good thing.
what's our topic for next week?
I don't know what you want the topic to be.
There's so many.
For
There's
all the men I've loved before.
Did you love them, Kathy?
Get away.
Woo!
We can get together, because I haven't decided. I always like to leave it open to see what people do want to talk about and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
you have something that you want to talk about, let's by all means talk about it.
Yeah,
we'll have
I
Renee
mean,
next week.
We have so much going on right now. But I think that we have some things that we need to talk about as far as elections. We have local elections coming up in May that we really need to be about, because these local elections,
because ours is in April here. So yeah, that's a good.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a good topic for me.
I mean,
You know
you
what?
guys produce another one of those Josh Alleys. Go ahead.
I'm not a big, I'm not into I keep up on politics, but I like your insight, getting that insight from the both of you and everyone every week, because I'm burnt out on the politics, but I don't want to get slapped. I don't want to get comfortable, because
and you really can't afford to, and none of us can. And here's why:
exactly.
because they're trying to
So even though I'm tired,
our voting rights, and it's
exactly.
driving.
So even though I'm tired, I still need to be on top of what's going on.
The fact that we have to be fighting for voting rights in 2021
makes you want to scream. You know what? I feel like that Michael Jackson video scream.
But if you guys produce another Josh, if you produce another Josh Halley, if you guys in St. Louis produce another Josh Halley,
it's the rural part of the state. If we could just zip up the middle of the state, enjoy St. Louis and Kansas City, you know what I'm saying? I think we'd be fine.
I don't know if you need to take it out to those rural areas, but you need to get out there and start talking to those people. I think it's time to have conversations. Now, bring a whole crew, because, we don't want any lynchings, modern day lynchings going on here. But
we need Stacey here in Missouri. That's what we need. We need Stacey to come here and help us out. Stacey Abrams.
Well, we better start emulating and like Dolly the clone lamb. We better start cloning some people to become Stacey Abrams in every state, because the girl can't she's got to also start setting up these things and saying, okay, who's going to be the Stacey Abrams of Missouri? Who's going to be the Stacey Abrams of Texas?
And I think that's what's in the plans now, because so many states are trying to change the rules. So let's talk about that next week.
Yes,
do a little bit more research.
Okay.
Very good, very good. So now you have something to think about.
Yes, and here it is. When it comes to staying young, a mind lift beats a facelift any day.
Ooh, I think that's so true.
Yes.
I think
it's all about the attitude. Yes, that's a good one, because that's where I am.
Because I have to remind myself of that every time I think about my little chin. A mind lift beats a facelift any day.
And so
Absolutely.
much less expensive, you know.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
very good, very good.
Okay.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining.
Oh, well,
Have a good weekend,
nice.
and we'll come back on next week, same bad time, same bad channel.
okay.
All
Thank you.
right.
Good night.
Bye. Bye.